Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Easy with Mina, the place where you can improve your English through real conversations, simple stories, and practical life lessons. I'm Mina, and I'm so happy you're here today. Let me ask you something. Have you ever picked up your phone just to check one message, and suddenly an hour disappeared? Or maybe you planned to study English for 20 minutes, but somehow you ended up watching random videos instead. If you've ever experienced that, don't worry. You're not lazy, and you're definitely not alone. Today, we're going to talk about something we all have, but can never get back once it's gone: our time. We'll share simple ideas that can help you stop wasting time, build better habits, and improve your English at the same time. And of course, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Jen. Hi, Jen. How are you doing today?
Hi, Mina. I'm doing great, thank you. And honestly, your question reminded me of something that happened to me just yesterday. After dinner, I told myself, I'll watch one short video before getting back to work. It sounded completely harmless. I thought it would only take 5 minutes. But one video became another, and then another. And before I knew it, almost an hour had passed. The funny thing is that I couldn't even remember what I had watched. I didn't feel happier or more relaxed. I just felt surprised that so much time had disappeared. I think many people experience this every day. We don't lose hours all at once. We lose them little by little. And that's exactly why today's conversation is so important.
Before we get started, we'd like to ask you for one small favor. If you enjoy learning English through relaxed conversations like this, please take a second to like this video, subscribe to English Easy with Mina, and share it with a friend who's learning English too. Maybe you know someone who always says, "I really want to improve my English, but I don't have enough time." This episode might be exactly what they need today. And don't forget to stay until the end, because we'll give you a simple 4-step action plan that you can start using today.
Mina, I'd like to begin with a simple question. What does "don't waste your time" really mean? Many people think it means staying busy every minute or working all day without taking a break. But I don't think that's true at all. For me, time is like a garden. Imagine that every morning someone gives you a small piece of land. Whatever you plant there will grow. If you plant flowers, you'll enjoy beautiful colors later. If you plant vegetables, you'll have something healthy to eat. But if you leave the garden empty, weeds will grow by themselves. Our days work exactly the same way. Every hour is a small piece of your garden. You can choose to plant new English words, healthy habits, meaningful conversations, or useful skills. But if you don't make that choice, distractions, procrastination, and endless scrolling will quietly take over. The most important thing is that nobody else can plant your garden for you. Every small choice you make today becomes part of the life you'll live tomorrow.
I absolutely love that image, Jen, because a beautiful garden isn't created in one day. It grows little by little. One seed today, another tomorrow, and another the day after that. Learning English is exactly the same. Many learners become frustrated because they don't sound fluent after only a few weeks. But expecting instant results is like planting a flower today and hoping it blooms tomorrow morning. I remember one of my students who always told me she didn't have enough time to study English. One day I asked her what she usually did during her lunch break. She smiled and admitted that she spent about 20 minutes scrolling through social media. Then I asked her a simple question. What if you listened to an English podcast for just 10 of those minutes? 3 months later, she came back and told me she hadn't studied more than before. She had simply used her time differently, and that small change completely transformed her confidence.
That story reminds me of someone I met last year in a small coffee shop. Every afternoon, I saw an older man sitting quietly with nothing but a notebook and a pen. At first, I thought he was writing a novel, but one day I finally asked him what he was doing. He smiled and said that every day he wrote one short paragraph in English. Just one paragraph, nothing more. I was surprised because it sounded too simple. Then he looked at me and said something I'll never forget. 15 minutes every day is much more powerful than 3 hours once a month. That sentence stayed in my mind because so many of us are waiting for the perfect time to begin. We think we'll start when life becomes less busy or when we have more free time. But perfect moments rarely arrive. Progress usually begins in ordinary moments, 5 minutes before work, 10 minutes before bed, or a few quiet moments while waiting for the bus.
That's such a wonderful lesson. We often believe that success comes from doing something big, but most of the time it comes from doing something small, again and again. Imagine filling a glass with water. One drop doesn't seem important, neither does the second or the third, but eventually the glass becomes full. Improving your English works exactly the same way. Every new word you learn, every podcast you listen to, and every conversation you practice is another drop in the glass. At first, it may not feel like you're making progress, but one day you'll suddenly realize that you understand more, speak more confidently, and enjoy English much more than before. So don't underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They may look tiny today, but they create incredible results over time.
Mina, I think one of the biggest reasons people say they don't have enough time is because they're only looking for big blocks of free time. They believe they need 1 or 2 uninterrupted hours before they can do something meaningful. But real life doesn't work like that. Most of us have work, school, family responsibilities, and many other things to do. Instead of waiting for a perfect hour, I like to think about time as a pocket full of coins. Every day, life gives us many small coins. 5 minutes while waiting for the bus, 10 minutes before a meeting starts, or even 3 minutes while drinking a cup of coffee. Each coin seems small, almost unimportant. But when you collect enough coins, they become something valuable. Those tiny moments can help you learn new vocabulary, listen to a short English podcast, or review yesterday's lesson. Success isn't always built during long study sessions. Sometimes it's built in those little moments that most people ignore.
That's such a beautiful way to think about it, Jen. It reminds me of one of my students who was also a full-time nurse. She worked long shifts, came home feeling exhausted, and truly believed she had no time to study English. Instead of asking her to study for an hour every day, I suggested something much smaller. I told her to listen to 5 minutes of English while driving to work, read one short paragraph during lunch, and review 3 vocabulary words before going to bed. At first, she thought those tiny activities wouldn't make any difference. But after several months, she surprised herself. She could understand more conversations, remember more expressions, and even felt comfortable speaking with international patients. She didn't suddenly become fluent because she studied harder. She became better because she stopped wasting the little moments that were already part of her daily routine.
Your story reminds me of something my grandfather used to tell me when I was a child. He gave me a small piggy bank and said, Don't worry about saving a lot of money. Just put one coin inside whenever you can. At first, I thought one coin was meaningless, but after several months, the piggy bank became so heavy that I could barely lift it. That's exactly how learning works. Every new English word is one coin. Every podcast episode is another coin. Every mistake you learn from is another coin. You may not notice the difference today or tomorrow, but one day you'll look back and realize you've collected something incredibly valuable. That's why I never tell people to chase huge improvements overnight. I tell them to collect one more coin today than they did yesterday.
I couldn't agree more. We often underestimate the power of consistency because we only notice dramatic changes. But life doesn't usually change dramatically overnight. It changes quietly, one small decision after another. Imagine climbing a staircase in the dark. You don't jump from the bottom directly to the top. You simply take the next step, then another, then another. Eventually, you reach a place that once seemed impossible. Learning English is exactly like climbing those stairs. You don't have to see the entire staircase. You only need enough courage to take the next step today.
Now, let's talk about something that quietly steals our time without asking for permission. I like to call these things time thieves. They're not always obvious. Sometimes they're hidden behind activities that seem harmless, like checking social media for a few minutes, watching one more video, or reading endless comments online. The problem isn't that these activities are always bad. The problem is that they often take much more than they give back. Imagine inviting a guest into your house for 5 minutes, but that guest decides to stay for 3 hours. That's what time thieves do. They enter your day through a small door, and before you realize it, they've taken away the time you wanted to spend learning, resting, or being with people you love.
That's a perfect description. I actually tested this on myself a few weeks ago. One evening, I placed my phone in another room while I was studying. I thought I'd miss it, but something interesting happened. I became calmer. I focused better. In just 30 minutes, I finished everything I had planned to do. The next evening, I kept my phone beside me. Every notification made me curious. I checked one message, then another, and suddenly I couldn't remember what I had been studying. That's when I realized something important. Focus isn't about having more time. It's about protecting the time you already have. Sometimes the biggest improvement doesn't come from working harder. It comes from removing the distractions that quietly steal your attention.
I think that's a lesson all of us need to hear. We often blame ourselves for lacking motivation, but maybe motivation isn't the real problem. Maybe our attention is simply being pulled in too many different directions. Every day, hundreds of apps, videos, and notifications compete for our attention. If we don't decide where our time goes, someone else will decide for us. That's why protecting your attention is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Every minute you save is another opportunity to learn, grow, or simply enjoy a peaceful moment without distractions.
We've shared a lot of ideas today. So let's quickly review the 4 lessons we learned together. First, think of your time as a garden. Every small action is like planting a seed, and the habits you grow today will shape your future. Second, don't ignore the little moments in your day. 5 or 10 minutes may seem small, but they can become something incredibly valuable when you use them wisely. Third, protect yourself from time thieves. Social media, endless scrolling, and constant distractions can quietly steal hours without giving you anything meaningful in return. And finally, remember that rest is an investment, not a waste. A well-rested mind learns faster, thinks more clearly, and enjoys life much more.
Those 4 ideas may sound simple, but simple doesn't mean unimportant. In fact, the biggest changes in our lives usually begin with the smallest decisions. You don't need a perfect schedule, expensive courses, or endless free time to improve your English. You simply need to make one better choice today than you made yesterday. Maybe you'll listen to an English podcast while walking. Maybe you'll learn 3 new words before bed. Maybe you'll spend 10 fewer minutes scrolling on your phone and 10 more minutes investing in yourself. Those little choices may not seem exciting today, but they create amazing results over time. Before you leave, we'd like to give you a simple 4-step action plan. Step 1, choose one small English goal for today. Don't make it too big. Keep it simple and realistic. Step 2, decide exactly when you'll do it. Maybe during lunch, while commuting, or before going to sleep. Step 3, remove one distraction. Put your phone away, turn off notifications, or find a quiet place where you can focus for just a few minutes. Finally, step 4, celebrate your progress. Don't wait until you're fluent to feel proud of yourself. Every small step is worth celebrating because every step moves you closer to your goal.
Thank you so much for spending these minutes with us today. We truly believe that choosing to learn English is one of the best investments you can make in yourself. Remember, improving your English isn't about studying for hours every day. It's about showing up consistently, even if it's only for a few minutes. Little by little, those minutes become hours, those hours become skills, and those skills open new doors in your life. Never underestimate what small, consistent actions can do.
And always remember this: your time is one of the most valuable gifts you have. Spend it on things that help you grow, help you smile, and help you become the person you want to be. Thank you for joining us here on English Easy with Mina. If today's conversation inspired you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs a little encouragement today. Until next time, take good care of yourself, keep practicing your English, and never stop believing in your progress. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Take care, keep learning, and remember, every minute you invest in yourself today becomes a better tomorrow. See you next time.